Okay, so we're still continuing on with this hand, and we're trying to attach this thumb somehow to this model. So drag it out a little bit, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to start twisting some of these points, or these vertices here. So in essence what I'm trying to do is just grab it, and I intend to rotate it, or I will twist it more or less. Okay, so it's easier and matches up a little bit better with the underlying mesh or the palm on the left hand side there. So it's kind of an iterative approach. There's not really any sense getting anal about, oh, it's not lined up to topology, blah blah blah, because you'll just go in and you'll tweak it out like so. Okay, but again, we haven't really attached it to the rest of the mesh, so it's not really worthwhile doing too much until it is. So we'll just move this over here, and we are going to start tweaking this out. Okay, so in order to do this, I'm going to grab some of the vertices here. I'm going to pull them up so I can see where my thumb starts. I'm going to grab my thumb and then start tweaking these vertices. So in other words, moving them up and moving them up like so. Okay, because I want it to join up pretty much like so. Tweak it a bit more, and down, 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 down. Okay, kind of might be what we want. And when we're starting to get what we're sort of like aiming for, then we can start to try join it all up. So grabbing this guy, I'm going to start snapping. So turn on my snap tool, like so. Maybe selecting this one both at the same time. Oops, snap off. And just sort of moving it around like so. Snap can also be turned on by holding V on the keyboard. Okay, so it's like a shortcut key for snap. Very handy. And I'm going to pull this over here, because there's probably a good chance I'll cut another line of detail to match. Okay, so selecting those polygons, those vertices there, start working this like so. Alright, so moving along, holding down V for snap. Just start snapping things out, but I'll just put this over here and maybe over here a bit, and then I'm going to try snap. Maybe not at this stage, I might just leave that. So probably cut in some more detail to make that work. Just I go to the underside here, and here I can definitely sort of start holding down V again for snapping. Just start sort of positioning things how I might see it. Okay, oops, make sure you have the right thing selected. Alright, starting to look alright. Okay, so yeah, it's starting to get there now. So we're sort of starting to attach the thumb now. So I think at this stage I might just cut some detail in here. And then snap it here. Okay, and it's basically just starting to match it up. And just play and tweak with your topology. Some more cuts across the top here. Just trying to match up, keep things nice and clean. Oops. Just select the right mesh I want to work with. cut through. Okay. Cut one more time over here. Just cut one more time here as well. Yep. And it's starting to look pretty groovy. Yeah, here I need to work on my topology a bit. You see over here I've got two vertices that I want merged in. And I'm going to start tweaking some of this detail out. I'm going to cut in through here. And select an edge with F10. I'm going to delete that edge like so. Alright, so here we can rework some detail here, like so. And this is kind of like another way of cutting in more and more detail. This can all be used. There's lots of different ways you can work. I'm sort of pretty free flow and messy when it comes to generating more detail. So I can actually then grab this and pull it over here and just start cutting in some more, like so. And of course it's looking pretty ugly. Of course you just start tweaking it out. But what you find is you've actually cut in the necessary detail you want. Okay, so this thumb is looking a bit funky. I think that it needs a lot more work, but I think essentially I'm going to pull that right up there. Just basically into the middle here. This bone is quite long anyway, and just basically this detail here is for shape purposes only, not really for any deformation, but it does serve deformation as it goes in around here of the thumb. So then I can just sort of start pulling this out, using it for my own means. So again, always working the problem from different angles, making sure it's nice. Okay, when you have the two pieces of meat, of course you want to have it both selected. And knuckle here needs to come up. And here as well. Okay. And actually I'm just going to cut once more. Cut. Okay. And F4. F11. I'm going to just delete this. Don't want it. I'll come back and deal with that another time. But here you can start to see quite clearly your palm starting to come together. This is probably a very feasible point to start. For me, I just have a lot of issue with how I've attached it, but essentially you can just keep tweaking and tweaking and tweaking until you get the desired result. Again, just using your own thumb as a reference, you'll pretty much achieve what you're looking for over a given period of time. And obviously we're moving on to the rest of the palm here. This kind of needs to come up quite a lot to really get a nice looking fat palmy section. So push it down here, do a cut straight across. Oops. She's not going to cut for me. Okay, let's go for a couple of steps then. Okay, that worked. F9. Then we have just repurposed some detail, like so. Now we can start making the palm of the hand, pulling some of this detail down. This is obviously quite large here. It's be quite flat.